Welcome to the continued podcast adventures of Superhero Speak.
But I think many of the people that love this character and that love superheroes in general have used these stories as inspiration to say, you know what, I'm going to do something good in the world. I'm going to make a difference like my hero when I was a kid.
That is my fondest memory of it, because when you're doing comic books, you want them to affect people, right? You want people to care. You want to strike emotions, and I knew that Clone Saga was striking a lot of emotions.
Can you imagine Pulp Fiction starring Goofy and Mickey Mouse?
I can totally imagine that.
I'm sure somebody's written that one too.
Quarter pounder with cheese and France, Mickey. What? Boy, ale with cheese, Mickey. Yeah, I can totally.
See?
I would watch the hell out of that movie.
Yes, I gladly sacrifice that my progeny to you, almighty Marvel beast.
But Neil Adams is somewhere going, it's my time.
How do you measure success? Hey everyone, and welcome to Superhero Speak. I'm your host Dave.
And I'm barely a host, John.
I'm just JD.
Barely a host?
I like my entire setup is currently jury rigged. Like my work, I don't know what Comcast. I work for Comcast. I don't know what they did to our VPNs or whatever. I'm not even going through the VPN and like I can't get to StreamYard. So I just spent the last half an hour running around trying to get my other rig worked up for this. But now it's barely set up, so may have interesting side effects. I might look better or worse than I normally do. Either way, it's a curse.
I was going to say you weren't here last week due to
a lot of problems. A lot of problems, not just the mechanical.
And then this week it's jury rig just be here, but at least you're here, and we're happy for that.
Yes, I am here physically.
Mentally?
Well, how's everyone doing? JD, as you are enjoying your dinner?
I just got home from the movies, so I'm eating a bowl of instant rice so I can get something in my system that's not popcorn, although it's just more carbs.
I've got my dinner too, so
liquid dinner for you.
Yeah.
So I had an interesting Friday.
Yeah.
I woke up probably about 4:30 in the morning, and my dog was throwing up. You know, you have a dog, dogs throw up, and it was a lot. I'm like, oh, fine, I'll go take care of this now. So I turn on the light, and he's barfed quite a bit, and I look over to him, and he's rubbing his face against the headboard. I'm like, that's weird behavior. And then all of a sudden, he drops to the ground and starts convulsing.
Oh,
and
no.
I said, holy shit, my dog's having a seizure. So I wake up my wife, like, hey, Michelle, I asked her was having a seizure. And so she gets up and runs over. I think he's choking. So she takes off his collar, and that it didn't stop. He kept twitching. And for a second, I thought, holy shit, this 15-month-old dog is going to die right in front of us. And he came out of it, but his eyes were like super dilated, like silver dollars. And he was like baring his teeth and growling, which is weird because he doesn't do that. He's like a Disney character. And he hid behind our bed for about 20 minutes while we tried to figure out what to do. And then he popped out like 20 minutes. We're like, hey, what's going on? Wasn't that weird? Like, so we called the emergency vet, and they're like, it's first time. I wouldn't worry about it. And we're like, well, that's odd. And we called our vet. Our vet didn't open till 8. So we had to wait it out. I had to drive Andy to school because like he crawled in bed with us that night and got to see firsthand his best friend having a seizure. Handled it well though. He handled it well. So our vet goes, same. Give him a day. He'll be fine. I'm like, I don't know. And then so we have pet insurance, right? Because my wife's a genius. So we call, and it provides you the 24-hour emergency line, which we just found out about. So she calls them and gives them the scenario, and they said, go to an emergency vet right now. So we did. I dropped Andy off at school, and then we drove to the emergency vet. And they ran a litany. What's that word? Of tests.
Litany.
Litany.
Thank you. I'm a writer. And they said they don't think it's epilepsy because he wasn't drooling. And they said the fact that he was throwing up just before meant it's probably a toxicity thing. So, like, what could he have gotten into? And it turned out, I didn't know it's no. Actually, it's milk chocolate doesn't affect dogs unless they eat a lot of it. It's the dark chocolate.
It's dark chocolate, yeah.
But no, but coincidentally, he did in fact eat an Easter bunny while we were calling. He did in fact eat some chocolate Easter bunnies while we were calling the vet because he's a dumbass. So while that happened, so we get to we're talking to the vet, and the vet's like, what else happened? Well, we had the lawn treated yesterday. And they said no one on the lawn for 2 hours. And he wasn't out there for about 4 hours. But we had a picnic last night. The night before, I made burgers on the griddle. We have the Blackstone. It's pretty awesome. And he stole one while I wasn't looking, and he ran into his little, because we have about an acre, and he's got we've kenneled off some space for him. So he ran into his kennel and ate his burger. But he threw up a ton of grass. So we think they said, yeah, it was probably the lawn treatment. I told my wife, I'm like, well, screw this, man. I'll just spray the damn with dandelions myself. We don't need to do this. The cure is far and away worse than the disease. But the doctor said we should be a one-time thing. Shouldn't be anything repeat, and it's just keep an eye on him, but we think he's going to be okay because a lot of these lawn treatments have like nerve agents in them.
Yeah, so. I actually have my lawn treated too, and I'm like, this year is the first year that I'm not going to have it treated anymore because of my 2 cats.
Mm-hmm.
And like they say, don't let your cats on the lawn for about an hour after. That's always way underestimated. Like, I don't let them out for an entire day at least.
I'm going to be in that same boat from now on. I'm not. If we ever, and I don't even want to, but if we ever find ourselves in this position again, he doesn't go outside for at least 24 hours. Because this was bad.
Something similar happened to my dog many years ago, and it was, we didn't realize there was like a thing of still water that like rainwater had collected, and there was like a bunch of junk and stuff in it. And he drank it, and like he was throwing up, and he was acting weird. And we took him to the vet, and he's like, "Yeah, seems like it seems like poisoning." And we're our vet is I believe Korean, so he's got a real thick accent, and English isn't his first language, even though he's been here for a long time. And I'm like, poisoning, and he's like, "Well, like he ate something he shouldn't have." And it was like, "Oh, okay." And then we realized it was the water. And I was like,
rainwater can mess him up to begin with. Astrid did that once because, again, he's an idiot and got dysentery.
Ugh.
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah.
Yikes.
Yeah. Welcome to the disgusting podcast. So,
wait, we care about our pets, man.
Love my dog. He's my best friend.
Yeah.
But he's doing better.
My cats got me through the last 6 years. They got me through my last divorce. Without them, I'd be less insane than I am now, or more insane. I don't know. Like I'm a better person for them. Yeah.
Some of my best friends are insane. It's fine. I mean, I'm talking to 2 of them right now.
Present company not excluded.
So, all right, and then you saw a movie, and now you're eating rice.
Done with the rice.
Rice. Okay. How about you, John? Are you recovered from your excitement last weekend?
I don't even remember what it was, but like, I don't remember. Oh yeah, no, it was the storm. Yes. Yeah, no, my back still hurts from that. When you have to like, man, I spent that 17 grand on that commercial drain grate across my driveway, and it worked for a little bit, but there's just so much rain. And the township here is a bunch of dumbasses. So they're never going to fix the road. So I just have to now like build a moat or something. So yeah, it was fun. And then my computer not working. So everything's fine now. I'm training somebody new at work. I have more minions. The start of my new evil empire. And otherwise, yeah, nothing really going on. Started reading Sartre, so that's going to be interesting. I might start quoting some high-end philosophy.
All right, cool.
How about you, Dave? What's going on with you, man? And you, sir?
I'm doing all right. Can't complain. Let's see.
Do
Friday.
elucidate us.
I took a half a day on Friday and went in the afternoon to see the movie, which I gotta say, one, I tend to enjoy because there tends to be less people, obviously, in the afternoon on a Friday. But it's also when you're gonna get people with small kids, and that's not always great.
Sorry about that. Yeah.
Oops.
Go on.
I didn't mean to show that.
Hey, Kassan.
Hello, fellas. Hi, Kassan. Oh, we got
Yo,
a lot. Kassan, we got a lot to talk about, Kassan. We'll get to that in social media, man.
Kassan just started following me on Twitter. Thanks, man.
So saw the movie. We'll obviously get into that later in the show. Had a lot of fun on Free Comic Book Day. Come on, did you guys celebrate Free Comic Book Day?
Couldn't. I had a tournament. So Andy and I went to the comic book store today. I was trying to scam some free comics, and they would not let me scam any free comics. So I bought him some Star Wars, because after taking him to Jedi last week, he is now super into Star Wars.
There was one of the free comics that was out was from Marvel, and it was a Spider-Man comic, which is a prequel to the new Spider-Man game that's coming out. It's a continuation of the Spider-Man game, Sony games, and everyone that came in was asking about this comic, and they're like, "Oh no, they only gave us 20," and they went really fast. And I've heard from a bunch of people like, "Yeah, that's the one that everyone was grabbing." I did not get it, so I was a little upset about that. And then, but I did get some free comics, and then I got my comic book store does these grab bags, where it's a mystery bag of 20 comics for $10. But a lot of times they'll just write Marvel or DC on there. This time they had specific Wolverine, Deadpool, so I grabbed those, and so I walked out with a lot of comics.
Good for you.
Her one son saw the pile of comics. He's like, "What, did you bring all your comics here?" And I'm like, "No, I just bought these." He's like, "You bought?" Yeah.
Normies.
He thought 46 comics was a lot of comics.
Well, to be fair, 46 is a big number.
Yeah, it's not as big as 42. That's the answer to everything.
Technically, it's bigger than 42, Dave. Remember the little Pac-Man guy? The Pac-Man guy eats the bigger number.
Oh, that's right. That's right. But yeah, so that's but that was good. And then not much else. Got ready for a show today, and here we are. What's Chris saying here?
Chris says, "Just saying hi, guys. I'm off to support drag performers. Help support free speech. Have a good show. Thumbs up."
Excellent. Do it, man.
Oh, so where are we going from here?
Where do we go from here? We can go to a little social media madness.
Oh, I gotta leave.
I think my jury rig setup is having issues. I'm starting to have a hard time hearing you for some reason.
I thought it was jerry rigged and not jury rigged. I mean, like, isn't it jerry rigged?
Uh-oh.
Is that offensive to
Jury.
Germans? I'm German. I'm half German. It's fine. Like,
no, it's jury rigged.
It's jury rigged? Okay.
Yeah, jury rigging. Jury. I
thought it was jerry rigged. The Jeri.
No, that's only when Seinfeld is involved.
That was
such a riveting conversation. That
no, okay. Don says it's hey Don. Okay, I'm wrong. Everyone's telling me it's no way. Okay, 8-Bit Ray says jerry rigged. Don says jury rigged. Is this a part of the country you live in thing?
No, the original term comes from maritime lingo. So the official original is jury rigging. So
tomato.
Tomato rigging, yes, the lesser known variant.
Again,
I couldn't find my mute button fast enough.
Such a riveting conversation that while you're watching, if they're not yet subscribed, hit that subscribe button down below. Hit the bell for notifications for when we go live. All right. On that note, we got some social media madness. First thing, last week we had a guest on the show, Pat Shand, writer of such comics as Robin Hood and many more.
I'm sorry I missed that. I really am. I kind of upset about that.
Destiny New York, which is being turned into a show or a Showtime show.
I'm not reading that. I'm not reading that, Randy. Not doing it.
Hold on. First, before I get to Randy's comment,
I'm doing it.
Kassan said, Pat was an excellent guest. I love peeling back the curtains of publishing. Thanks for the great episode. So, thanks for that, Kassan.
Glad you liked it.
Okay, wait. What did Randy say?
No,
nope,
dude, we don't
do it.
Nope. Nope.
I thought it was to avoid using the hard R.
No comment.
9.
So you say, okay.
Not touching it. Ray says, I'm from Baltimore and we don't believe in syllable. That'd have been funnier if he'd have said it like that.
Yes.
Fair enough.
Yes. Randy, don't get us in trouble on YouTube.
It's very easy to do.
Yes. Moving on. Do you remember a little while ago we reviewed
No.
We did a retro review of the movie Dungeons and Dragons?
No.
Mm-hmm.
It was like your favorite episode there, JD. Why are you complaining?
No.
To which Timothy Jones said, I saw the movie when it came out in Ireland. It was a lot of fun with plenty of great action. Side note, I couldn't find one box of Lucky Charms while I was over there.
Fair.
Oh my goodness. Oh, wait a minute. What's this? What he doesn't tell you is he had to Google how to spell syllabus.
Syllables.
Syllable.
Ray disagrees. I think we should also leave that one alone.
Yes.
So yes, what else did we talk about with?
All right, we also talked about Elizabeth Olsen recently said that she does not currently have a contract with Marvel for any upcoming movies, to which Peter DeVilbiss said she must have said that about an hour before she signed her new contract with Marvel.
Possible.
Very possible. I did try to see if there was anything new about her having a contract, and I haven't found anything online about that.
We've talked about this though. It's like Marvel went to shorter contracts now, right?
Yes.
So that does not having a contract at any given point doesn't mean anything.
No.
Until 10 minutes before they announce the new movie.
True. And then finally, see, it's short this week. Mandalorian, guys. We talked about the Mandalorian season 3 not too long ago.
John, are you writing a book? What are you doing?
Oh wow! Does that really come through?
Insanely.
Yeah. Oh wow!
I hear.
Sorry, I will fix that.
Hold on. Since we're talking about this, we were talking about this at work on Friday. I was in a meeting, and we could hear someone's keyboard clicking, and he said something about the type of keyboard. I'm like, oh yeah, they're very noisy. That must be what my co-host has on the podcast, because every time he goes to search for something, we can hear click, 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 click. So yes, John, we talked about you at work.
The original IBM keyboards had mechanical mechanical levers, and the sound is very distinctive, and it's really funny because how old things become new again, and all the kids, like my nephews, are like, oh, I want that keyboard because that sounds really cool. And I'm like, yeah, it was really cool back in the day in the 80s when there were 40 keyboards in the same place and all you heard was all day. So
okay. So anyway, finally we did talk about The Mandalorian season 3, to which Don replied with, as a Star Wars fan, I am eating good. And it's a picture of Pedro Pascal eating a sandwich. I have seen this meme other places. It's ridiculous.
It's a weird meme. I'll be honest with you. I don't know why it's weird. I don't even know if I appreciate the weirdness. It's just weird.
And then finally, Random Randy Savage said, now let's see if I can do this right, because he told me I had to say it a specific way.
Good luck with this.
It's the Bo-Katan Show, starring Bo-Katan, featuring Baby Grogu, Tracy Morgan, Duke Silver, and the Navarro Blues Street Band, and Din Djarin.
Featuring Din Djarin, yes. That would be, I mean, like, that's...
Said you got to say it like the Saturday Night Live
announcer. I know, it's just, but he's not wrong, you know?
I don't know.
Just, I mean, it was like, I mean, we find out at the end that, like, the Mandalorian was Grogu all the time.
They never say that. That's
I
just
know
an assumption that's made.
The Mandalorians were the friends we made along the way. What's up, Classy? Marvel isn't signing anyone to 12 movie appearances anymore. Sorry, Sam Jackson. That's Ray's take on that. Wait. Randy said thank you for reading it in.
You're welcome, Randy. Kassan says mechanical keyboards became necessary equipment for gamers. The response time is superior to electric keyboards. Really?
Yep. Yeah, and the other thing is that because the keys are mechanical, you can actually replace the keys really easily.
That is true.
Huh.
Yes.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So,
unlike my Mac, when the keys die on it, it freaking sucks. The computer's done.
Oh Jesus. Yeah.
Oh yeah, they're cheap.
But they're not.
No, not at all. All right, guys. Believe it or not, that's all the social media madness for this week.
Thank God.
Oh, thank God, Mikai.
Bless you. What was that?
If you would like to know how you can follow us on social media, be part of social media madness, here's our good friend Don to tell you more.
How's the show going? You join it? Do you want to be part of social media madness? And go ahead and head over to superheroespeak.com, where you can find all the social links, episodes of the show. You can find comic reviews by Chris and other articles. We're posting stuff on there all the time. And while you're there, check out the rest of the Geek World All-Stars Podcast Network. Great shows like the Pop Prison Power Podcast, Colt 45, Fans on Patrol, the Gorilla Brain Podcast, So Wizard, and Superhero Speak. Hashtag GW All-Stars, and you will not be disappointed. So make sure that you are engaging with the Superhero Speak Twitter post whenever they come up. Give us your best comment, and you may make JD say this.
I get so tired of these dumb motherfuckers.
All right, it's back to the show.
Nice.
That's still my favorite.
Read the last comment.
Oh, Ray says I'm hiring Don for all my propaganda commercials. He's really good at it. He's really good at it.
Actually, and Don's
gotten better.
Don
too.
said the clicking keeps his wife up through the night. All right. So what do we got? We got a commercial break.
Oh.
And it's going to be a longer one, so you can go run to the bathroom.
Sweet.
All right. So we're going to take a quick commercial break and we'll be right back with the news.
Some podcasts are like this.
On top, missionary, pull the leg over, so that way it's like they're on their side a bit. So that way it's like you're hitting it from the back, but you're still getting face action.
Yeah.
That way you still reach a hand
some
up
Twister
there.
shit.
Yeah, but you still get deep because you get and face and neck. It's a power position.
What would you call that? Like a wine opener?
The bop it, you can smack it, you can choke it, you can pull it, you can do everything.
And some podcasts are like this.
It's hard. I'm one day off vaping right now, bro. And I want to fucking smoke a bowl out of my own nuts, bro, of pure nicotine.
But only one podcast is where you can get in-depth analysis like this.
Ooh, we let that slide. That was woo.
He's a
Sweet
bad guy.
and sour
It's
chicken
fine.
ass nigga. He's a bad guy.
Oh, let's just walk over this one.
Because he was a villain, we let that slide. That was. Oof. I forgot about that. My bad. Just because you naming food, nigga, don't make it better, dog. Like, it's still racist as shit.
There's so much racism,
bro. Also, I know ain't no black people wrote this, so I know this is just.
This is just them.
Tripping
like,
and
we can say
racism.
whatever he wanted through his mouth. Come on, think of all the racist things you want to say to those Asian people.
Get it off your
Say
chest. It'll be spoken in jive, so it wouldn't hurt so much.
His sweet jive mouth.
You are now listening to Cult 45.
This is Beat 'em Down.
And I'm Random Randy Savage.
Find us on all your podcatching apps like Podbean or Spotify. And follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Or just go to www.cult45podcast.com.
Also, check out our YouTube for that sweet, sweet video content.
Cult 45, the only podcast that puts hair on your chest.
I'm just astounded at how Randy found the two douchiest podcasts possible to put in that.
A lot of podcasts.
I'm sure he's only scraping the top of the barrel at that point.
Oh, you're probably right, but having like the editing on those and listening to them back to back just makes me lose complete faith in Generation Z altogether.
I can't wait until we get another sponsor like NordVPN or something, and we can just follow that advertisement up with. And if you want to listen to this without people realizing that you're actually listening to this,
wait, we have a
NordVPN.
We have a NordVPN sponsorship?
No, I would love to, but
I was going to say that would rule.
Mm-hmm.
Here's Ray talking about.
They shit on Ghost Ship 2 weeks ago and get a pass because I love them.
Yes, we all love them. And I'm going to say again to anyone watching or listening to this who has a podcast and would like to have us advertise them on our show, please send it over to davidsuperheroespeak.com and I will play it on the next episode.
We like money. Pay us.
You don't want to smoke nicotine from your nuts, says Kassan. Yes, that is true.
I don't even know how it's possible, but I mean, to be fair, the guy was one day off of vaping and clearly wasn't thinking straight.
Also, something else real quick. We did get a message from Kassan on the internets, as you do.
We didn't do it. Nobody saw us do it. You can't prove anything.
And he said, after watching last week's episode, let me see if I can find the message. I want to make sure I say this right. After watching last week's episode where we had Pat on, he said, "Hey, it seems that all you or most of you guys are interested in writing. Want to start an online writing group?" So, we do have stuff live where
I like this idea.
I do too.
Well, only one of us is really successful at it, and he's the one who says we should do it. So you're the one that's successful.
I thought you meant Kassan. I was like,
no, you're the successful one.
Face, like
I know you've killed me a few times. I know you're successful because
do it for free this time. The writer's strike, yes. Oh, that's actually a name for a podcast, actually.
It's the perfect time to start one too.
That's true, right? A lot of writers not with a lot to do right now. By the way, we support the writers in their strike because writers need to get paid. And these CEOs make too much goddamn money. Spread that wealth around.
Have we?
Yeah,
we all know this last week because the last time there was a writer's strike, it affected everything. Like Heroes, the TV show, just went to shit. Like a lot of stuff was really affected by
we got The Apprentice from it. So make of that what you will.
Oh yeah, a whole bunch of that crap.
I will say that yeah, I think they're just going to go to ChatGPT to write all the scripts going forward.
I've seen now that like it's now that it's in the general zeitgeist. There's a lot of reporters that are doing like, oh yes, let's see if ChatGPT can do an episode of this sitcom or this, and no, it's just all gobbledygook. It's nowhere near what it can. It doesn't. It's not a true AI. It's only predictive text. It's only just a little bit better than what you've got on your chat on your text message thing on your phone, and you know how good that is.
JD's going to be funny without his writers.
Less funny with
writers. Thanks.
Yes, all the writers we have on this podcast
Yeah, JD's his own writer, and he's on strike, so he can't cross his own picket line.
Fair.
So.
Then I guess I'll see you guys next week.
I keep making the joke because it's one of the things that apparently they are striking about is that some of these big companies want to use AI to write scripts.
Of course they do.
So they're striking because they wanted a guarantee that they won't use AI.
Well, and they're trying to turn it into a gig thing instead. Like, you got writers that are writing for sitcoms and stuff that are making millions of dollars, and these guys are getting paid almost as little as what you make at McDonald's. It's stupid. And at the same time, like the head of Warner Brothers Discovery is making as much just himself as they're asking for all the writers in the entire U.S.
And he's doing a bang-up job, by the way.
I know, right? Right, exactly.
Kassan, we'll get back to you. We'll talk about it after we get off the air, how to do it.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
John needs it, actually. Keep him.
Yeah, I do. No,
he does, really.
No,
keep him,
I need motivation.
Keep him doing it. Yeah, that's what I meant. I wasn't making fun.
No, I
Rappers
got
are
it.
using AI to write their songs and are putting ghostwriters out of business. Huh. Do you have proof of that, Ray, or is that just when you're crazy?
Yeah, I don't know if that's a Ray bit or if he's being serious on that.
Well, but if you think about it, bad rap is just a bunch of random rhymes.
Don's got a good point. Don says the streaming services are not being forthcoming with their viewership of the content. This robs writers of their bargaining power. He's right, man.
Yep.
He's absolutely right. They're hiding the races. That's legit. That's crazy.
Yeah.
That does, because we don't know, Nielsen has never really been accurate, but Nielsen's the same. Nielsen is a ballpark estimate, right? It's almost like it's like, I forget the name of the company that did all the comics sell, like the comics thing that all bases the numbers off of Batman, right? So they always chart those things. They're not really the numbers, but you get a barometer of it. With the streaming stuff, nobody knows. You're on the word of the companies to tell you how many people are watching stuff, and those things seem crazy. Like sometimes Netflix, 8 gazillion people watched Stranger Things last week.
Well, no,
you got to be like, I guess 8 gazillion people watched Stranger Things last week.
They use language like the most people who've ever watched a streaming thing on our platform watched this. What does that mean? Like,
it could be one more than the last one. I mean, you just don't know.
Yeah.
I'm really tired of these big, America is in a bad position because these big corporations are just taking advantage of people, literally in every sense, in every field. And it's getting bad. It's why we need, the Writers Guild. It's why we need these, these groups that can strike, so that we can actually protect or at least get what we deserve. It's man, it just pisses me off when you hear somebody the CEO made $560 million. JD said, it's he's doing a bang up job. They're losing money hand over fist, but they gave him a raise. And instead of they give him a raise, instead of paying writers who are the guys who actually could bring them out of their tailspin by writing good shows.
Well, we have too much of an anti-union push in this country right now, where everybody Jennifer Howard says, I just got a trilogy for my new favorite writer company. So some guy named JD. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Sorry, I was gonna read the cheap plug. Man, and I had a point and I lost it and I went for ego instead. And bad podcaster. Bad.
People are bashing unions more and more.
Oh yeah, thank you. Because there's this big anti-union push in this country right now, where the Writers Guild of America protects writers, right? They're going to make sure stuff gets done. They're going to make sure, because again, without the writer, you don't have anything. Very few guys are like the aforementioned James Gunn, who, by the way, is a member of the Writers Guild of America. Can just do their own things. So support. We need to support people like this.
So, speaking of writers making it good, did you hear Jim Lee trying to get to some news?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's right. He wasn't. He did write.
Did you read those? Did you read those issues of Wildcats, my friend? Come on.
He still wrote them. Yes, he has been officially announced as the president of DC.
President, publisher, a couple other things that I forget.
Is that a good thing or a bad? I met him, but he wasn't.
No, he's.
I mean, He's cool.
From a business, Jim Lee is a very successful businessman, always has been.
Yeah.
And DC has been in a better place since cutting to Dio, right? I still don't think they're quite as good as they were when Levitz was around the show, but I think this is a good move. I do, and like most people, most people seem to be a fan of Jim Lee. So
I think too, like, I mean, I'm sure it could be said, the same could be said for some of the other people that have led them, but he is a fan too. Like, he loves all these characters. He loves Batman and Superman. You know, he's worked on all of them. I like it's funny. Maybe not everyone loved Hush, but like he wanted to do Hush in the regular run. He didn't want it to be a prestige book.
That wasn't him though. His art is really good in Hush. The problem with Hush is Jeff Loeb. Had a great Jeff Loeb had a great ending right there, and then decided to get really stupid with his ending. Like he tried to outdo The Long Halloween and outdid nothing. Drew asks, is Gunn on strike from his DC duties? I don't know. That's interesting. Like because he's a producer and because he's a writer and because he's an executive, I would assume, I don't know, maybe he's just not writing a script right now.
That means
he's not writing, but he can still be putting together their lineup and all that.
Yeah.
That means he has to pick it outside of his own house.
Yeah. That is an interesting question, and I'm actually going to scrub his Twitter timeline. I follow him, but I haven't seen anything with him. I imagine it's an awkward position because he's both a suit and a writer. I don't know.
Well, there are a lot of reports of actors like going out to support the writers, like bringing food to the picket lines and all that. I mean,
there's much more support this time, and like because remember during the 2007 writers' strike, the late night shows kept going. They just went writerless. Now they're all like, we're done. We're not going to work. We support our teams. So I think that this time around, there's a lot more because of social media. Social media can be a good thing. There's a lot more support for the writers than there was in 2007.
I wonder though.
Well, in some cases, they were still supporting him, like Jon Stewart and some of the late night guys. They all got together. Who's the orange haired guy? I forget. Conan O'Brien. Right. They all got together and Colbert. And they did cross promotion of their shows, but they were upfront saying, look, our writers on strike, we support them. So what you're seeing here is just,
but this time they're not even doing that. They're just running reruns, which I think is a better move from them. Right. Like, I think that there's a lot more support. Again, it's when you can leverage social media, I think that's a good thing. Racist Heroes suffers horribly from the writer's strike.
Heroes, that was the death of the actual series. Like, it just went off the rails right at that point.
It did. That's season 1 of Heroes is like a really great season of single season of television. They never should have gone back. Yeah, I mean, like again, Loeb never really sticks in, but I thought the end was all right. I think the problem is they came back.
Well, the end was we wanted to see the big battle between the guy collecting powers
and Peter Petrelli.
And we didn't get that. We just got time for oops, time travel, and that was it.
But to oops, time travel was part of the show from the get go. That was written into the fabric of the program.
True, because of what Heroes powers.
Yeah. So wow, we're reviewing television that's young. We're reviewing a television series that's older than most of my kids that I teach. So yeah.
So anyway. Getting back to Jim Lee.
Bring it back.
Oh yeah.
I think I do think it's a good thing. I think he's a fan, and he'll do right by the characters, I believe.
He always has. He's been the co-publisher for well over a decade.
Right.
So this is nothing really new. It's just more of a firming things up and staying in good graces with the aforementioned David Zaslav.
Right.
Douchebag that he is.
What's this from
Don? This will kill late night TV with less and less people watching content during a certain time. I think this strike will put the final nails of the coffin of the late night talk shows. I don't think so. I don't think it's going to last that long. We have great. I think it'll be fine.
Even so, the late night talk shows, they're kind of a juggernaut. They don't have the same issues that like daytime soaps did. Like the late night shows still have a clientele. Like there's a lot of people who still watch.
There's only like 2 soaps left, right? It's Days of Our Lives and General Hospital.
Yeah, and it was because of the idea in the 1950s that the woman stayed home and took care of the house,
right?
And so that's what they were catered to,
right?
But the late night shows are for they just have random demographics, and people are still up at midnight watching them. So, and they have really good hosts these days. So.
That's actually not true. The ratings have been down for years on these stuff.
Well,
people don't consume media like they used to. People are not watching TV anymore.
True.
They're watching stuff on YouTube and Twitch and all that stuff. And
but the late night stuff will be one of the last things to go on normal network TV.
No, the last thing that's going to go on normal network TV would be news. Everything else
probably. That's already gone. That's let's be honest. Like local news is the only thing that's really left. The was it 5 o'clock, or was it the 6 o'clock news or 8 o'clock news show? The big ones, they don't matter anymore.
I think Classy's got a point here.
Reality TV meaning more like MILF Mansion. Yeah, you're gonna.
Oh God.
And Ray says that's good.
I hope
TV,
that
Classy.
does.
I bet Ray loves that. Yeah, the way people consume media is TikTok late night. Yeah, no kidding. The way people consume media is that we were talking about some other show recently, like how everything is in contention. We are in contention with late night media, right? Because you could be watching our show, or you could be watching some television. Like there's so much fighting for people's attention spans now. So but here's the thing: they're getting the stuff that is on television is making more money than ever before. There's more money in TV than there's ever been. Especially stuff for like sports content. Astronomical.
You know what?
Astronomical.
You know what? That's going to be the last thing that dies. Sports.
Live sports. Live sports is the lifeblood of television.
Yeah. So, all right, let's move on. Speaking of television, Loki season 2 has been delayed. It was supposed to be out last month. They're saying it's going to take a little while. They're saying, what was the official reason? Something about production and continuity issues. But the rumor is they're looking at how to replace Jonathan Majors. So,
I tell you what, I got an idea. Can you review all of MILF Mansion? not get us kicked off of YouTube. Let's leave it at that.
Yeah,
I am not a mature enough man to not. I would be like it. I would be more fit
not
for
worth
Randy's show at this point if I were to say what I want to say about that. I have some thoughts. I have some thoughts regarding Jonathan Majors based on what I saw today.
Okay.
That directions I think Marvel could go in. So, but I'll save that for the show, for the review of the show, or something. I don't know.
You mean the review of the movie?
The review of the movie on the show, yes.
Yeah. So I don't know. I don't think you can go back and redo the show. Like I think it's going to be.
No, but you can take out some parts. You can do some creative editing.
Yeah, and we have no idea how big of a role he plays in this.
No,
season,
so it might not be that big a deal. We also don't know what's going to happen with Jonathan Majors. I'm sure Marvel has to get its ducks in a line because I'm sure they had a sweet ass contract for Jonathan Majors, who has managed to make things worse for himself every time you hear his name mentioned. So,
pretty much, yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah, he should just be hiding under a rock somewhere.
And then there's Ezra Miller, who's going to be in a movie that makes a shit ton of money this year. And DC's like, the movie's really good. You see it? Someone tweeted, I think it was one of the production guys, like, this movie is so good, you're going to forget what an asshole Ezra Miller is. Like, there was an actual comment.
My hope is for the World League of Lightsaber Duels. All right, there, Randy.
Nice little double entendre there.
So also speaking of Marvel, did you hear that Spider-Man 4 they're saying is fast-tracked and they're rumored to be released in August of 2025?
Not anymore.
What?
Yeah.
Not anymore. Well, we have a writer's strike.
Oh.
Nothing is moving forward.
Oh, well, of course. But that is the current rumor about the movie. Like, I wasn't even sure if they were going to do a Spider-Man 4 with Marvel, but they want to keep moving forward with the characters. So why not? He's the biggest name right now for them.
Yeah, I mean, sure, why not? I mean, especially having seen what I saw today, there's not much left on the shelf, right?
What would you want from a Spider-Man 4 at this point?
More Spider-Man? I mean, guys, that's a great question. What would I want from a Spider-Man movie at this point? I'd like something that we haven't seen before. Put me on the spot. We're getting a shitty Craven movie, so that's off the table.
Well, you're getting Spider-Man the way, like, it's like you've said in our past discussions on this, JD. It was surprising to find that all three of these Spider-Man movies were just the prelude to actual Spider-Man, where he's unknown, he's on his own, and all that. So they've got Greenfield here to work with. They
want more data
now.
But who do you use? Like, because again, a big part of these superhero villains is superhero movies is who's the villain, right? Because you need a guy to play off of. So who do we have for Spider-Man to play off of that hasn't been accounted for?
Like, he killed Mysterio, so that's out.
Right.
Do we have him working
Doc Ock has been done.
Do we have him working for the Daily Bugle?
I would.
Yeah.
Yeah, because then we get more J. Jonah Jameson. Like, I want more of that guy. He's fantastic.
So, yeah, villain-wise, I don't know. Like, because that's the thing. You're saying, they with No Way Home, they gave us a version of Green Goblin and Doc Ock.
That's what I'm saying. Could do the Hobgoblin.
True.
I bet some of Osborn's tech is floating around, so you could do a Hobgoblin story.
But Hobgoblin wasn't just tech, right? He was also mystical, right?
Not at first. Okay. Here we go.
Or the Demo Goblin.
Oh boy, here we go.
So Demo Goblin is, but I mean that's nothing. But the second, the first Hobgoblin, Roderick Kingsley, not Phil, not Oh, that's what you can do. You could totally do it. You could have them think that Ned is the Goblin. That's totally what you can do because Ned Leeds, excuse me. Ned Stacy, who's that? Ned Leeds was who we thought was the Green Goblin, but then they went back and revealed there was always going to be not Peter David. It was always going to be Roger Stern's plan to have Roderick Kingsley be the Hobgoblin, the Hobgoblin, and then they revealed that. So the second Hobgoblin, Philip Masondale, or Jason Masondale, was the original Jack-o'-lantern. He was the Hobgoblin who just took the gear, and then during Inferno, that X-Men crossover, then he became mystical, and then they did the Demo Goblin later on. I love Kane. That's cool. If you do this, that's something we could do too. Because Kane, that's the spider clones. You could do spider clones. That would I think that's an interesting challenge.
You could do Kingpin too, because you've got Daredevil.
Kingpin's there. You could do Kingpin.
Do you bring in Jackal and do the Clone Saga from the original storyline? Yeah.
Some sort of you could cobble together some sort of clone story from all of the material, right?
Vulture is still out there.
Vulture is still out there, right? There's a lot they could do. I just don't know what Kingpin versus Spider-Man would be fun. I think they got Kingpin dog-eared for Daredevil right now.
Yeah.
I do too. Kingpin and Spider-Man with Daredevil. I'd like to see some Spider-Man Daredevil crossover more because they're that street level hero thing.
Yeah.
I think that's always good. So yeah, I like the idea of Hobgoblin. I like the idea of some clone stuff. I like the idea of maybe it's a gangland war story, right? Like the Rose, and if you're gonna use Kingpin, you could do a Rose story or the Scourge of the Underworld. That'd be kind of fun. Like, there's a lot of stuff you could do now that I think about it.
I only like the idea of doing the clone stuff because Feige gave us one more day, basically, in the last Spider-Man movie and made it good.
Yeah, that's the challenge. Can you take the Clone Saga's had a lot of like rose-colored glasses for you, even me. It pushed me away from comics, but I came to appreciate lots of it. So I think that there's stuff you could do with spider clones. I really do. Vulture isn't out there; he's in another universe now.
Yeah, but no one liked Morbius. So
nobody cares about Morbius.
No, Morbius doesn't
MCU
exist.
Spider-Man. Yeah. So there's a lot. I'm interested, actually.
Yep. All right. So, final bit of news here, I think, was two more news stories. First, this is bothering me so much. Adam Driver has been signed to be in the Fantastic Four movie.
Is that official?
Yeah, it came out.
Oh, I missed that.
It came out that he's
reportedly
signed it.
That's not confirmed.
It's not confirmed, but I mean, You're not going to give up. Just like it was reportedly that what's his face was going to be Ant-Man, and he's like, no, that's not true. And then he was Ant-Man.
Yeah, I never really thought of Adam Driver as Reed Richards. I mean, he can play cold and detached. I would just rather see him as Doom, quite frankly. I think Adam Driver as Doom would be a lot more fun.
Paul is the true villain for Spider-Man?
Paul.
It's rumored that he's signed the contract.
Yeah, it's rumored that he signed the contract. Paul? I'm okay with it. Like, he was fun. We got our John Krasinski in Multiverse, so okay. That's cool. We at least got to see it. Adam Driver, he's a good actor. He's a very good actor.
Yeah,
I would like to see him as Dr. Doom.
Yeah, me too. That's what I'm thinking.
Finally, the real Doctor Doom, not these other.
Oh yeah. We're not gonna get a Fox version of Dr. Doom.
I hope to God not.
Yeah. So, who's Paul?
I don't know. I said Paul and Spider-Man. Like in my head, I'm going through all this Spider-Man stuff. I don't. Paul is a new character in the Spider-Man comic. Oh, that's right. I don't want to talk about this, Ulysses. I read the press release saying they're going to kill Mary Jane. I actually tweeted for her on the show about how much I hate monthly comics because it's nothing but gimmick after gimmick to try to get you to buy numbers on these comics that are stupid and overinflated. I hate the gimmickiness of modern corporate comics. I can't stand it. I absolutely can't stand it. It's dumb.
Yeah, no Paul. No Paul. We don't want
Fuck Paul.
Well, okay then.
Hey, Paul's not my type. And then finally, did you guys see the trailer for Dune Part 2?
I did. I saw it today.
Yep.
Look good. I don't know. This is gonna sound like a joke, but I don't mean it to be. Came off a little dry. I don't mean that to be the joke, but it's also there, and I'm not man enough not to make it.
It wasn't spicy enough for you?
Oh,
that's just the worms in your brain saying
that. Yeah, I don't know. It looks fun. No, actually, it does not look fun. Fun is not the word you could use for Dune. I was sitting next to Andy. He looks at me and goes, "Dad, this looks like Star Wars," and I'm like, "It's complicated, buddy." And like the trailer ends, and he goes, "I want to see Star Wars," and I said, "Yeah, I think America said the same thing after the last Dune came out." But I'll see it. I mean, I like the first. I didn't love the first,
but
I liked it.
I have a question in all seriousness, and you know what? Anyone in the chat can chime in on this too.
I'm sure they will.
Does anyone want to go to the theater to see Dune 2? Since the first one was free on HBO Max, and we don't know how many people
free.
Well, you know.
Yes, still. I do want to see it in the theater because that's a movie that Dune was the one movie that I saw on HBO Max where I went, I wish I would have watched this in the theater just because of how big the scope was on everything, and the fact that I didn't. I'm kind of like, I'd like to have seen it in the theater, but at the same time, it's like a 3.5-hour movie. So
yeah,
I'm of two minds of the subject. I want to see it. Yeah.
And this is where part 2 is where we find out if they're going to be truer to the original novel.
Is Paul a god?
Is Paul really a god, or is his mother just a conniving, person who tricked everybody into thinking he was a god?
Mm-hmm.
Don's right. It's enough to turn your brown eyes blue.
Nice.
That's a 6-year-old joke.
That's a long haul joke.
Classy says I'm seeing Dune 2 over the Marvels, so releasing the same month as well as the Hunger Games prequel. I'm checked out on the Hunger Games, man. I really like those books. I loved Mockingjay as a book. I read it in one sitting. Loved it. I could not stand the movie part 1. It just left me so like me. So I'm just checked out on all things Hunger Games. The Marvels looked fun, but again, I was kind of like,
yeah.
I like Kamala Khan, but I'm like, I'm not feeling it.
Well, I don't know. I think it'll be better than you think it is.
It can't be worse than I think it is. I'll tell you that. I don't think it's terrible, but it's not like I said, the vast majority. And today, again, we'll get to this. I'm so uninspired by Marvel's output. I still remain there.
Well,
or cinematography and
until this,
great on
we'll
IMAX.
talk about that.
I agree with that. I agree with that. I think this is something that should be seen in IMAX because Denis Villeneuve is going to make it big, and movies on IMAX should be big.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes I feel like they put stuff on IMAX that shouldn't be there. So,
Well, they put almost everything they can because it's more
money.
expensive.
yeah, it makes them. Yeah.
And then when you leave the theater, they make more money on hearing aids because they just
The audience is now deaf.
The audience.
I know, right?
One of the greatest Simpsons gags ever. Yes.
Is it just? Actually, I didn't know that was a Simpsons gag because the last time I went,
God.
I don't go to IMAX theaters anymore because it's just too loud.
And you're just too old.
All right. You sound like my
maybe
wife.
I guess.
All right, we're going to take a quick commercial break, and we'll come back with our main topic.
The Guardians of the Galaxy have no place in my world.
Kiss your mom with that face?
Oh, no. Some corners of the universe consider him God.
It's a face-off.
Well, I guess we'll die trying. I decided die trying ain't our thing no more.
Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, rated PG-13. Get tickets now.
I don't know why I got stuck at the end there.
Yeah, well, dramatic pause.
The movie was too awesome and it blew it out.
All right. So, yes, we are here to talk Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Real quick, what did Gassan say here about the Marvels? The Marvels was dry and underwhelming. I think people went Alison Brie to succeed because she's a woman who has been hammered in media.
Alison Brie is the one from Community. This is Brie Larson.
Yeah. Alison Brie also.
Alison Brie. Brie Larson. Like both very attractive. I don't know, man.
All right.
I like the Miss Marvel show. It was fun. It was at least different.
Yeah.
And we know like Brie Larson, when she's given a good script, can at least show emotion.
Is she in the new? Is she in the new Fast and the Furious movie? I thought I saw her in that trailer today.
Everybody's in the Fast.
That's true. Everyone is in the Fast and the Furious movie. You're right. You're right.
I am not sure. I don't
Literally
pay attention to those trailers. All right. Let's talk Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Let's start off like we always do with some numbers to get a pulse of what we're talking about here. Rotten Tomatoes. Critics score 81%. Audience score 95%.
That's about right.
Box office numbers as of the time of this show. So obviously this isn't the final because it's Sunday. 114 million domestic, 168 million international, so 282 million worldwide. So they should probably break 300 before the end of the weekend. And of course, we did an audience poll here, as we do on Superhero Speak, to ask you guys what you thought. I gave the same kind of answers I always do. Best of the MCU. It was good. It was okay. I didn't like it. The lowest at 2.7% was it was okay. The next highest was I didn't like it at 13.5%. Then it was good at 37.8%. And 45.9% of the audience said best of the MCU. I want to clarify here. Best of the MCU doesn't mean it was the best movie of the MCU. It's one of the best. That was asked that by a listener, and I clarified that. Yeah, no, it just means it's like one of your top movies. So a couple comments on this. Here we've got Randy chiming in with James Gunn is going to bring DC Comics back, I hope. And Ginsan said, I've already commented, but I feel like Disney has lost an asset in James Gunn. Mm-hmm. By the way, did you see that the MCU has confirmed more Star-Lord coming, not Guardians of the Galaxy, just Star-Lord. I only wonder how the MCU can compare in quality without Gunn. He also said, I almost forgot to heap praise on the guy who played the High Evolutionary, Chukwudi Awuji.
Chuck Woody.
For his portrayal of the revolutionary stellar acting, I hope the man finds more screen time in the MCU. So
agreed. We will return to that concept.
All right, so let's do as we always do. Okay, so Don's confirming it is her and Momoa in the Fast and Furious.
Thought so.
So let's do what we always do. No spoilers yet. Let's go around the room. What was everyone's initial reaction to this movie as they came out of the theater? And JD, since you just came from the theater, you can go first.
I loved it. It was one of my. It's the best Marvel thing I think I've seen. Probably since Infinity War.
Hi,
No Way Home. Yeah, I did like it more than, and I love No Way Home. I thought this was a better story. I thought it was fantastic.
All right, John.
Best thing since Endgame. Like just, yeah, like they're gonna regret letting James Gunn go. They need more people like this to write their stuff.
Brie Larson was in Community too. Say what? JD loved it.
Loved it. That was fantastic.
No, it's not surprising.
I will say that I really, really liked this movie. I don't know if I loved it, but I really, really liked it.
Really?
Yeah, I got a couple little minor issues with the movie. Nothing major, just a couple little things where I was like, I kind of wish they had done this different. And we'll get into that. Nothing.
I mean, there's always, you can always nitpick it, but like overall, like that's your overall, like.
Let's hear that.
Brie is Paul Walker's sister.
Oh, in the movie? Oh, okay.
That makes sense. Yeah. All right.
It doesn't. Nothing about those movies makes sense, but that's kind of the point.
Hasn't made any sense since what, the second one?
I mean, the first one's a Point Break knockoff that wound up being so much more successful than Point Break. It's not even funny.
So yes, I think all three of us say it's good. We enjoyed it. If you haven't seen it, go out and see it. It's a good Marvel movie. It's definitely the best thing they've put out in a little while. Go see it. And now we're going to get into spoilers. So if you have not seen the movie yet and don't want spoilers, you can stop here, come back later and finish up. And if you don't care about spoilers because you've seen it, or you just don't care about spoilers, here we go. All right. Oh, wait, what did Gassan say here? Yeah, there are some details, but the quality in the writing and the acting swept the small inconsistencies under the rug. Okay. No, I mean, it's interesting, like, that they focus so much on Rock. This is Rocket's story, right? Like, the first two movies were definitely Star-Lord's, Peter's story, and now all of a sudden it's like this is all Rocket, which there's nothing wrong with that. It's a team movie. You can concentrate on different characters, right? Like, so like, you know,
especially when you get such good motivation from them.
Mm-hmm. See you, Classy. Hope you enjoy it.
So yeah, I mean, it starts off with they're in nowhere. Peter is drunk again over losing Gamora, and which again is an interesting thing. It's they did that before, right? Did they do that in the holiday special? They kind of hinted at it.
They hinted at it. The holiday special kind of sets this up because it had been 6 years since part 2 and part 3.
Okay.
So yeah, this holiday special kind of bridged the gap.
Right. Well, don't forget they were dust for 5 years. So most of them, except for Rocket and Gamora, not Gamora, Nebula, which that's one of the things I really loved about this movie. Let's talk about that first. The relationship between Rocket and Nebula.
They were much closer friends because of all the time they spent during the dusting. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, like, and I think they did a great job of portraying that in this movie. Like,
absolutely. Karen Gillan was absolutely fantastic. My wife said her character grew so much from the first movie to this one.
Yes,
and I agree.
Yep.
Like it's far and away the biggest character journey. She's really good in it. Really good.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, definitely. Like she goes on almost the same, like not the same, but like a character journey like Tony Stark did through all of the movies, right? Like went from like just straight up mustache twirling villain to like one of the most important characters in this
I
team.
think she was a mustache twirling villain. I think she was a sympathetic villain because again, it makes sense to have the relationship between her and Rocket because they have the same origin.
Yes.
True.
They're
but
very
in the
similar.
beginning, she was just the Terminator type. Like I'm coming for you. That's it. Like,
very much. But again, it was like sympathy because she was tortured by her father. She was tortured by Thanos. And then you get to see this slow evolution toward her. So in this one, she's like the chief, not protagonist, but she's like the chief supporting character in the movie. Like a lot of what she does really helps drive the story.
Yes.
Right. Like it's funny too because Rocket is on the sidelines for most of this movie.
Right. I'd like
technically.
Yeah. I mean, like
that.
The actual
I like that storytelling technique. Like he's in a coma, but you get the flashbacks of his origin, which ties it into the high evolutionary.
It's a little cliche, but because I don't think we've seen it before in this type of a Marvel movie, in a movie like a Marvel movie, I'm saying, I think it works because it's an old technique that I can't remember the last time I saw it.
Yeah, and but it's also the beginning of the movie. We get introduced to Adam Warlock. He comes flying into nowhere and starts attacking everyone because he was sent there by the Sovereign to get revenge for them. And
I think that was the only thing that we did not need in this movie.
Disagree.
Like, I don't know. Everything he did could have been done by random heavy number 4. I mean, it just like they could have had one of those mechanical guards for the new home planet, go in and get destroyed. But in before they got destroyed, it could have hurt Rocket, and the same situation would have occurred.
Okay, so here's
wasted it.
Here's the thing about Warlock in this movie. The Guardians of the Galaxy movies are about family, but they're also about like broken families and finding family. Very much like the Fast and the Furious movies, if you will. It's very much about family. It's very much about finding family where you don't expect it. Right? That is the theme of it. And Adam Warlock's point of his insight, not his inciting incident, but like his change comes in the moment where his mother dies. Right? And now he finds himself to be an orphan, right? And then he is accepted by this band of orphans, right? Which is the theme that we see really throughout this movie is finding family where you don't expect it. We see it with Rocket. We see it with the Guardians. It's a theme throughout the whole series.
But it's such a small part of this movie. And it all it did was add more characters. It took away a little bit of the oxygen from the other stuff that was going on.
I disagree. I thought it was
my only issue is the portrayal of Adam Warlock kind of being an idiot.
Gotta have a character. I mean, like, what is Adam Warlock's defining characteristics from the comics?
Well, he was genetically engineered to be a protector or something, right? Like
that's what I'm saying. Like he just
kind of a flat
character.
But he was big in the Infinity War. Like he was not an idiot at all.
But he's just kind of there. He's a cipher for action. Like the original Infinity Gauntlet series, he just kind of comes back. And like it's not like he has these great character moments, which is why the character struggles. Right? There's not a lot of depth to the character. And here he's a child. Right? She even says it. He was brought out of his cocoon too early. He's a child.
Yeah.
So I think that works for him being kind of an idiot. Because again, I work with teenagers. They are dumb. Even the smartest of them are dumb. La Familia. Thank you, Don.
I get it, but again, like
Joey.
What did we get from Adam Warlock that we couldn't have gotten out of somebody else?
The path to the future.
Yeah, I know. That's what it feels like. It's like we had the cocoon in the first one.
No. He's a bridge. He's a bridge. Like he's part of the new Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah.
Right? He's a bridge.
I don't disagree.
Rocket's in the Guardians of the Galaxy, though.
Rocket's the leader, though, the new Guardians of the Galaxy. We see the next We see the next version of it.
My only issue is I feel like they could have portrayed him a little smarter. That's all. Like, other than that, But again, it makes sense in the story because he's an idiot. He didn't think about it. He just flew in and started fighting, and that's how Rocket gets hurt. So it works in the concept of the story. Exactly as JD said, they need to introduce the next generation early, or else have a fall off.
Yeah, I get it. I get it, Kassan. I mean, like that, but that's what I feel like. I feel like that's the only reason it was in here is because they had his introduction technically in the Cocoon in a prior movie. They hadn't gotten around to doing anything with him yet, and James Gunn had to put him on the board before he walked out the door, so that he was available for the next Marvel movie.
I honestly feel like that moment where he saves Star-Lord is a good moment because it is his character growth. It is his character development. Like, he's changing, right? That's a good thing.
Yeah, but we didn't spend enough time with him.
We had he
barely says,
but you don't
barely says anything.
You didn't need to. Like, you don't need to spend. This is the thing. You don't need to spend all this time with characters if you maximize the minutes that you have. Right. And he's a supporting character. Like, a supporting character doesn't need all that stuff because they aren't the driver of the story.
Right. I had not a huge issue with that, but I did have an issue with Adam saving Peter. I felt cinematically it would have been much better if Gamora saved him because he saved her in the first movie.
But it's not okay. I'm glad you brought this up, and I love that they did this. This isn't the same Gamora, and they keep driving that.
No, they do until the end, and that's what pissed me off even more. That when they both pause when after they say goodbye and she's going to walk. They both stop, like there's still feelings there. So
I disagree. Disagree with that because again, the theme of family. You cut back to Gamora with the Ravagers, with her band of Ravagers. They're all hugging her, and she's got a smile on their face. That's her family. That's just an acknowledgement. That's just an acknowledgement of like maybe in another time. It's like Casablanca, right? That's the Casablanca moment where Bogart looks at Bergman, and they're like, maybe in another life this could have worked. You got to get on that plane, kid. That's exactly what that was.
This is an old time travel trope or fiction trope where all it takes is just the right moment to start a relationship.
Yeah.
They are not going to have that moment anymore because she's not there. So, but she's still mostly the same person. So yeah, she understands that he had something with the other her.
And she says and she acknowledges it and she walks away.
Right. Because she's still not that.
They had that group hug where Warlock's like, I want a family. Warlock gets in on that hug, and Gamora watches it and sees it, and she has an opportunity to make a choice, and her choice was to walk away. Thank you, Drew. Drew says I agree with JD about Gamora.
I don't like it.
I know. You're not supposed to like it though. You're supposed to feel bad for heartbreak. You're supposed to feel because again, Bogart and Bergman should be together in Casablanca. They should be together. We see those two. We want them to be together, but they can't because of the circumstances. There's a war going on. He can't leave Casablanca. She has to get her ass out of it.
That's one of the things that knocks it down a couple points in my book. Like,
see, it doesn't knock it down.
No, that's the beauty of it, man. Nope. It's the pain. That's the defining characteristic of Star-Lord. That is literally his defining characteristic, and it has driven these movies. And it cheapens Infinity War if she comes back and becomes the same person, which is what happens in comics all the time. Which is why I'm mad about this Mary Jane thing. Because in 3-4 years, someone's going to say, "Hey, I want to write Mary Jane," and they're going to let her come back from the dead again. Because that's just the way it goes. Like, the one thing I could say for the MCU is they've made this shit matter. When characters die, it matters. Even bringing them back, what happened in the past matters. And I love that about this.
Yeah. There has to be consequences or nothing means anything.
Right, and it sounds right. It goes, change needs to happen or else you have stale storylines. That's one of the problems of printed comics. Comics are stuck in stasis. You're 100% right. They're in a constant state of Act 2. And how do you do that over the course of decades? You struggle, which is why printed comics are a hard thing, and that's why eventually you get kind of bored with them after a while. It's just the reality of it. Dang, I just typed. Dang, everything I just typed. JD said again. See, you're on the same path. It's a great movie. Brilliant. It's an absolutely great movie.
All right. Well, we can circle back to that. Let's see. So he gets hurt. We find out that he's got a failsafe in him. They can't just use a med pack on him or he'll die. But if they don't use a med pack on him, he'll die. That one of those.
That is it. See, and that's a really good motivation for this entire movie. That and the High Evolutionary. Like we've talked about this before. For a good movie or a good script, you need a good antagonist, and this is the best one I've seen so far. Except, with the exception of Thanos. Like I might even be better than Thanos because you hate him way more than Thanos. Like
he's so much more evil than Thanos.
Yeah, because Thanos was dispassionate about it. This guy is like, I want it. He's kill you. I hate
and
you.
this is what I've always loved about the High Evolutionary is he's Joseph Mengele, right?
Yeah,
he's Marvel's Joseph Mengele, and man, did they pull that off super well here. And he comes. Thanos was believed in what he said, but there was a pathos to him. Right, he was trying. Thanos didn't see himself as the villain, but we did. This guy doesn't see himself as a villain, but he's a freaking butcher, and he's just he's a megalomaniac. Whereas Thanos was just Napoleon. If you were with Thanos, you'd be like, this is the guy. If you're not with Thanos, he's a madman. Even the people with the High Evolutionary were like, this dude's nuts.
Yeah. Even Thanos was he was trying to get rid of half the population of the universe to save the other half. But this guy is just I made an entire population of sentient creatures. I'm just gonna kill them all and start over again. No fucks given at all.
Right. It's not good enough. Like a kid playing with ants. Right.
Yeah.
Just squishing them.
The best part is when Peter is confronting him and he's telling him you're just a madman, and he's giving his whole speech.
I don't care.
And Peter's I don't care.
I've heard it too many times.
Exactly. And it's perfect. It is. It's just screw this. You're just an idiot, another megalomaniac who wants to take over the universe, and I'm done with this.
Mm-hmm.
So,
man, I'll tell you something. I cried over a CGI otter, and I was like, "Oh,
my God, yeah,
got me! You freaking bastards got me!" Tears in my eyes when she died, and when they did the thing in heaven, I was like, "Rocket's gonna die," and then he didn't, and I was worse. Andy goes, "It's okay, Dad. It's okay."
And teeths and floor.
Teeths and floor were there.
Oh.
That was one of the things about this movie too that was interesting. All of the trailers had you believing someone was going to die.
Yeah.
And in the movie, they fake you out 3 or 4 times that one of the characters is going to die, and then nope, they all live.
Sir, I believe if you check the records of this show, I claim that nobody would die. I want you to go back and listen to those. I said nobody was going to die.
Fair enough.
Sniffed it out.
John was convinced it was.
John thought it was going to Rocket. John thought Rocket was going to die.
No, I thought it was going to be John Batista because he didn't want to play the. Yeah, he didn't want to play Drax anymore, right? But even Drax, at one point they faked this out with Drax.
Did. There's various points in this movie, right? Where that's the amazing thing about this. This is I was unsure myself various times. I thought for sure Quill was dead when his face changed shape. I was like, oh, he's dead. They did the Tim Robbins in Mission to Mars where you freeze to death, and then Warlock saved him. I was like, oh, okay, I'll take that. There's various points in the movie. I thought every single one of them was gonna die.
Little known fact: you don't freeze that quickly in space because there's nothing to transfer the heat out of your body to because there's no atmosphere. So it's cold, but it takes a long time for the heat to emanate out of your body because there's nothing for that heat to transfer to. There's no particles,
Yeah, you're gonna die
no
of
matter.
suffocation first, I think.
Yeah.
Now tell me about how we don't have talking raccoons.
I know, right? Yeah. Except he found out he's a raccoon, so he's Rocket Raccoon now.
And he saved his little brothers and sisters at the end.
Oh,
the
God.
heart.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Kassan said, I hope the high
done.
evolutionary remains the guy is the real deal, powerful genius, and ranks
against our moral.
I think he means ranks.
No, rakes. Like you scrape and scrape.
Oh, rakes against our moral conscience.
Very similar. I thought he was worse. So I have this crazy idea, right? He wants a utopia. I think that's bullshit. I don't think he wants a utopia with no pain and anger. I think he wants to keep fucking with shit and
it's what Rocket
with it and moves on.
It's exactly what Rocket said. He doesn't. He doesn't want to make things
better.
Yeah,
you just don't like things the way they are. Yeah, that's
right.
exactly what it is.
Yeah,
that's just like Mengele. Mengele just wanted to do shit to see what would happen. Like, oh, it's for science. It's for science. Yeah. Let's see what happens if I put you underwater. Like,
right, or feed you castor oil for like month. Which people basically had diarrhea to death. A lot of Jews did because of that.
Not this show.
Wonderful facts that I've got in my brain. But just to go back one thing though. Like I can't stop harping on this. Thanos, you would want to stop. The High Evolutionary, you want to get in a line and beat the shit out of him. Like, man, just God, I hated him.
Yeah, I think it's the most detestable villain Marvel has put out yet.
So,
and hold on, if I'm Kevin Feige, I'm trying to retcon this into him being a variant of Kang, and just make him play Kang. Quite frankly, because Jonathan Majors is in trouble, and they got to figure something else out. And I think the answer to their prayers is right here. That's what I would do. Now there is not.
According to Don. To get back real quick to the space scene and the face freezing, like we saw Yondu do the same thing and he was dead. So that's the other thing. You think, oh my God, they just killed Peter.
Because we set that up in a previous movie, right? We saw that before. So again, they're using good storytelling stuff. It's a callback. And then he's saved, right? Yeah. It's great. Man, you know what my big takeaway from this movie is? You know what my big takeaway from this movie is? What? James Gunn's ready to do Superman.
Oh yeah.
We'll see.
There's so much hope and happiness and sadness and up and down emotional journey. This is a man that can do Superman. I'm very excited for this.
He still has to prove himself to me.
They all do. Fair.
Oh,
but
did you like the point with God touching David?
I did. I caught that. It was a little heavy-handed. Hard to miss that.
I know, but that's only one step away from Superman, right?
Fair.
Jesus
that's
imagery.
True. That's true. Kassan says, in the grand scheme of things, Thanos' impact is diabolical. Half the universe to dust just because the methods appear more humane doesn't. I don't think he's less villainous at all. I think that please do not misconstrue what I'm saying. I don't think that Thanos is less of a villain because he butchered half the universe. I think just in his mind, I really feel like Thanos. Again, these are like the traits of great villains. I think that Thanos believes he was justified. I think that the High Evolutionary is justifying his actions.
Right.
Right. Does that make sense?
Thanos' motivation. There is a logical argument for it because it's based in reality. We are running out of resources.
Right.
But the High Evolutionary, he's just fucking with people.
Right. And he said he's like, I'm doing this to make this perfect. But in reality, he's just doing it because it entertains himself. That's the difference I think between Thanos is again, Thanos you could rate to like a Pol Pot or something like that. Like there's these butcher dictators that believe in what they're doing is for the betterment of the world. Whereas the High Evolutionary is, thank you, Kassan, this is a great distinction. I think the High Evolutionary is just a madman pretending to be justified.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And I think also
he was good.
Every villain has to have a fatal flaw, and his fatal flaw was his obsession with Rocket.
Mm-hmm.
Because
he's smarter than him.
Well, and that's the thing. He wants to make things really good. He makes Rocket, who finally has that one trait he's been looking for, and it makes him angry.
Right.
You know?
Because it's not because he didn't figure it out. Rocket figured it out. So it's like,
well, no, not just that, but the fact that Rocket could figure it out. The High Evolutionary was angry because Rocket became something, one of the things that he wanted.
Better.
Yeah.
So my dad always said, my job as a parent is to make you better than me. And it was always this noble thing that I always thought my dad said. And like, now that I'm a dad, I want Andy to be better than me in every aspect of life, more successful. I want to be a better athlete. I want him to just be better looking. He's already there. Like, I just want him to be more successful than me in every step of the way. There's a lot of parents who don't feel that way. There's a lot of people who don't want the world in a better place than where they left it. And that's exactly what this was. It made him angry that he was insulted that his creation figured this thing out that he couldn't. And I love that. I love how they just, because we always know Rocket's smart, right? We've always seen Rocket be able to do these things. And then this really showed us just how smart Rocket is.
Yeah. So it just put the lie to the High Evolutionaries' supposed motivation, you know.
Son says because Rocket's brain was in an ugly to the creation, he wanted Rocket's brain in a beautiful body. Yeah, exactly. Again, more of him tinkering with things that he can control, right? Well, I did this, so I want to put this brain in a better body. Again, it's just him controlling, and I don't even think he really wanted that. I think he was telling himself he wanted that.
Yeah.
What a villain. Oof.
But Dave, why don't you start talking, man? It's like, you know,
because every time I try to say something, you guys don't shut up.
It's almost like we have a podcast.
So I was trying to say, what was I trying to say? Anyway, him figuring out, I don't know. I don't remember now. I do think it's interesting. So, James Gunn said that Rocket's always been the secret protagonist of the movies, which, like, I don't know how I feel about that. I do think, and you know, I'm sure you're gonna say no, you didn't think so. I felt it was a little ham-fisted when Lila, that's her name, right? Said, it's always been your story. I felt like that was James Gunn's put that in there to say, like, oh, it's always been Rocket's story. And it's like, well, the story of his life has always been his story, and it's his choice. Like, that was the whole thing. But I don't feel like all three movies were his story.
By the way, Lila, voiced by Linda Cardellini, who also plays Hawkeye's wife.
Yes. Elma.
Floor was voiced by Michaela Hoover, who was also in the first Guardians of the Galaxy as the secretary to whatever the head of the Star League was.
All the voices were somebody that like had been previously involved with the movies or James Gunn in some way.
Gunn's
loves working with the same people.
Gunn's wife was in here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
she was Administrator Qual. So
got shot in the leg.
Yep.
Yes.
And she did a good scream too.
She's good. There's like this online backlash with her because she's really good looking and married to Gunn. And it turns out that she just didn't get a fair crack in Hollywood because Hollywood is like that. She's talented.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, there were a lot of people.
What's his face as the guard? Oh, come on.
Nathan Fillion.
Nathan Fillion. Oh,
he was awesome.
I love seeing him.
I don't think it was great. This guy. I got a guy like that.
I got one of those. Yeah.
This is perfect Nathan Fillion moment, man. This is awesome, man. I liked so much of this movie. It really hit me in all the feels. Kassan, I felt that she was referring to the 4 imprisoned creatures that had seen and envisioned the life outside the prison, but those stories ended, not Rockets. I agree. Oh, that was so painful. You ever reminded anybody ever read the book We Three, Grant Morrison's We Three? No. So basically, first of all, if anyone's never read this, it's an amazing miniseries from Grant Morrison and Frank Whiteley. It's basically Homeward Bound, the incredible journey with cyborgs. Okay. Right? They take a dog, a cat, and a rabbit, and they turn them into like cyborg killing machines, and they become self-aware and they're running away to go home, basically. Okay. And the rabbit in that story speaks in the same kind of vocal patterns as Floor does, and it's very similar. So I watched this movie. I think James Gunn's very well read in his comic stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm willing to bet that James Gunn has read We 3 and that influence, because there's a lot of. That's my recommendation for the week. I'll get it out early. Read We 3. It's from about like 1998, I want to say, from Grant Morrison and Frank Whiteley. Just an amazing piece of fiction.
You know, I can almost hate James Gunn because of how talented he is. Like between that and the soundtrack of this.
Oh, the soundtrack rules.
I don't know of any other director or writer who can match the tone of a scene or the motivation of a scene directly to a specific song like he can.
It's so funny too, because like there's so many movies and trailers that are using like classic rock songs. Right, like some like dubstep version of a classic rock song. It's become cliche, but for some reason, when Gunn does it, it just fits.
He has said in many interviews that's part of his writing process. Is he picks the song that's going to work with a scene, and he writes it as he listens to the song to make it fit even more. Right, and then like he he uses it as like a loose guide of how the movie's going to go. So. Yeah, like that's why it works. Like I don't know any other writers that do stuff like that. So, but I wonder if Marvel hates it because it's like, oh, we got to pay for all these songs in this movie.
When Badlands came on during the credit sequence, my wife goes, "Ooh, they spent money. They got Springsteen." I'm like, I know they really cashed out on this one. Gunn going out with a bang. It wasn't even part of the story. He's like, "Fuck it, give me Springsteen. Give me the boss."
Yeah.
Yeah. You know,
who liked Cosmo too?
Cosmo,
like all the little there. I mean, there's so many.
I think
there's so many Easter eggs in this. It's ridiculous. Seeing Howard the Duck again is
got a good laugh.
I think what makes Cosmo work so well is that she's still a dog.
A dog, yeah. I'm good. I'm good dog. I'm not bad dog. Like
yes.
It's exactly what I know. It's exactly what goes through Astro's mind. When I'm telling him for being dumb. Bad dog.
The Russians, they tortured me and put me into a rocket to die. And it's still not as bad as being called a bad dog.
It's great. He just, man, like, I feel like Gunn is really still kind of working. Because again, watching the Suicide Squad, I really feel like he was working through being fired by Marvel through that movie. Right?
Yeah.
It was very lashing out at stuff. And this one, I think it's really him kind of coming to terms with the fact that his time at Marvel is done.
Yeah.
Right. This really felt like a bookend in a lot of ways.
Oh, yeah. Oh, by the way, Sarah Almy played Cosmo. I thought she was in something else, but I don't see what I knew her from.
At the same time, in the sense of like, you don't feel like, I understand in some ways it feels like it's over, but in a lot of ways it felt like, no, they could keep going if they wanted to. Like, you know, just.
But there's something to be said about like not overstaying your welcome, and so many things do that these days, you know. True. And this is about change, and I think they could go forward with the new Guardians of the Galaxy, you know. They could.
Yeah, they could, definitely. I mean, the lineup has changed so many times in the comics. It's not like they're married to the lineup from the movies. I mean, it even changed in the movies, right? Like think about it, like it's not the same lineup they started with by the time they got to the last movie.
But that's how teams grow and how families grow. People come, people go, things change. Like, I think it's that a family is a living, breathing organism, and I think that's reflected in these movies quite well.
And besides, one of the girl who was the little girl who was in the final scene, what was her name? She's special. She and Moondragon get together later in the comics. So, not Phyla. Who was it? Was it Phyla? Phyla, yeah, Phyla, played by Kai Zen. Like she actually like has real powers. She becomes Quasar, I think, at one point.
Phyla Vel. Yeah, you're correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like, you know, you've got a pretty powerful like between that and King Groot, like he's on his way to becoming King Groot.
That's who that was. It took me a minute. And I was going to look that up, and I forgot to look that up. I was like, the girl is somebody. Who is the girl? I couldn't. It was Phyla-Vell. That's yep. Quasar.
Yeah,
God,
and she becomes Moondragon's love. Moondragon being the daughter of. Wait, was it the daughter of Drax? Right? Wasn't Moondragon like the daughter of Drax?
She might have been. Those Starlin books are weird. I forget.
Yeah,
Starlin did some weird stuff with those things sometimes.
But
I mean, and that's
like,
the whole thing too, right?
LSD,
like at
man.
the end, it's you weren't meant to be a destroyer. You're meant to be a dad.
Be a dad. Yeah.
Yeah, and he's like taking care of the kids.
But he always was. That was his motivation. Thanos killed his wife and daughter, right?
Yes.
That's what he's been looking. That's what he's been looking for. So I'm talking about these bookends. Like there's so many of these nice little bookends to the story. Oh,
right. Yeah.
Right up to the point of the last song they played was the first song they played in the first Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yes. Yeah. That's what he said. Oh, I got a special song, and he played what's the name of the song?
Come and get Redbone.
Come and get your love. Yeah. All right. So, and that was the other thing too. That I was going to say. Shoot, what was it? It was something about Drax, and I don't remember now. Oh well.
By the way, how many Beastie Boys songs can they start fitting in there? Like the Beastie Boys are suddenly finding themselves with a hell of a lot of residuals at this point.
Well, the one passed. So like I think that kind of happens when you realize they're never going to do anything again. Is you kind of review, you kind of like look back at things and you go, man, this is good. Andy goes, Dad, this song's awesome. What's it called? I said, No Sleep Till Brooklyn, and it is awesome.
A lot of their songs in here were like some of the best stuff, and it was, it wasn't just here though. They've been in other. I think they've been picked in other of the Marvel movies too.
Kassan pointed out, Moondragon is a powerful telekinetic and telepath, as well as the daughter of Arthur Douglas, better known as Drax.
This Drax is, of course, different than the 616 Drax.
Oh yeah. It's different skin color because they already had a green person in the team, so they made him gray.
Oh, that's right. The Beastie Boys. The song for the trailer for Marvels.
Marvels was Intergalactic,
Yeah.
So, and then
I'm sorry, there's just so much to pick out. Like, there's so many deep cuts in here too.
Yes, very deep cuts.
Who else
all right. So you've said all the stuff that you liked about the movie. John, you did say one thing you didn't like, which you thought.
It's not that I didn't like it. It's just like I think the only reason I can think of, they really didn't need Adam Warlock in here. They kind of shoehorned him in. So yeah, maybe he'll be. Well, I mean, even in the end scene, he was already starting to mature a bit. Because nobody picks Adrian. Nobody under the age of like 30 picks Adrian Belew. Adrian Belews got some good stuff, but like that's more refined palette. But they didn't have to shoehorn him into this. It didn't really hurt that they put him in this, and I guess the only reason they would put him in this is so that they've put that piece on the board for when they're going to need him in the next movie or show. But that's like, it's not even really a criticism. It's just kind of nitpicky. Even I feel bad saying anything about it.
I was going to say, that's how the MCU works. Like they'll bring characters in like this. And then if they want to use them again, they know they're on the board, so they can pull them in at any time.
I know, but I wonder if James Gunn was told to put him on the board, or if it was James Gunn's idea.
I think it might have been his idea.
He tends to be pretty. He tends to have a lot more rope of the Marvel guys than some of the other people have.
So JD, was there anything that you didn't like about the movie?
The length time, man. It was a long ass movie. I had to pee twice. Didn't help the fact that I keep refilling this giant ass cup that I bought. No, I was actually very happy with this movie. If I was thinking about something I didn't like, What didn't I like about this movie? I just saw it, so right now I'm on the high, and I haven't had a chance to really go back. It usually takes me a couple days to think about, like, from the critical aspects of it, is to really examine it. At the moment, I'm feeling really good about it, but I really like Gunn's work, man. I like the second. I'm like maybe the only person in the world that still likes the second Guardians movie. Right?
Oh, I like it too.
But a lot of people shit on the second Guardians movie, and I don't quite know why, because it's not as good as the first, which is fine. The first is one of the best movies of the 2010s, in my humble opinion. I got to think more about it. I mean, like, if you want to critique, you could say that Peter plays too much of a passive role. He's not the driver of the story, but it's part 3 in the movie. And Andy actually said to me, he goes, "Dad, who's the main character of this movie?" And I said, "Well, there really isn't one. It's just the Guardians of the Galaxy. It's about all of them." And this one really was about all of them. So if I could see that being an argument, is like Peter isn't the driver enough in this one, but I think that's okay, because I think we've had a lot of him being that, and I think this was good to spread the love around a little bit, because you have such a great cast of characters to work with.
Yeah,
I don't know, man. At the moment, nothing bugs me. I have to think about it a little bit more to like. Rocket's anti-gravity boots somehow canceling high evolutionary gravity power. I didn't get it. It was small, but yeah, okay, yeah. Yeah, you know me, man. I always think about the character stuff, and like the little plot contrivances never seem to bother me. Like, but I get it. If that bugs, I can't critique that.
Oh, who? First off, Sean Gunn, which is James Gunn's brother, right?
Yes.
Played Kraglin.
Kraglin.
He also did the voice of Young Rocket. But who shed a tear when he's sitting there trying to get the arrow to work, and Yondu shows up?
Well,
I mean,
it was very Star Wars influenced, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a very Star Wars scene.
Very Star
Use
Wars.
the Force.
Yeah.
Use your heart.
I don't think, but I don't think that Gunn has shied away. Well, like, just see his May the 4th post on Twitter. Like, he doesn't shy away from the fact that Star Wars is a major influence on these movies, and I think he's really just tipping his hat to it.
Yeah.
Which again is fine. Star Wars ripped off the entire thing from Kurosawa, so who cares?
I mean, it wasn't that was one of the things too, is that like they compared the first one to Star Wars so much. It was a space opera. It was something completely different from Marvel. It was a bunch of characters no one cared about that he made us care about. So, yeah, like,
and that's what's missing from a lot of the Marvel stuff, making us care about the characters.
Yeah, 100%. That's been my biggest. Again, you guys know me. I'm character above everything, and that's been my biggest problem for the last 2 years. I'm having a real hard time connecting with these characters. Again, these characters I'm already connected to, so that they have that accrued interest. Spider-Man, same thing. The new crop, having trouble with it.
Yeah.
I think they did okay with Camilla Khan, but the rest,
I agree.
Yeah.
That's the highlight. Camilla's been the highlight. Gunn needs to do Tag and Bink.
Huh? What's that?
Yes.
I don't know that one.
I don't know that one either.
I'm messed up on that. I feel old because I don't know what he's talking about.
We're
to Google.
Did somebody just make a reference that's so young that none of us know?
It's a Star Wars thing. Main character of the Star Wars spoof series that parody the films. I've never the Dark Horse comics, Tag and Bink. I've never read any of Tag and Bink. I got to be honest with you.
No.
Neither have I.
Sorry, Randy. All right. I'm trying to think. Is there anything else, or do we want to wrap it up here?
I'm good.
I can't think of anything. I mean, there's so many other Easter eggs in here. Judy Greer is War Pig. I mean,
that was Judy Greer.
Yeah, that was Judy Greer. Yeah,
dude, that was so Lord of the Flies when was it Warlock? Yeah, Warlock rips off the head and he's walking around with that Lord of the Flies thing.
Excuse me. Yeah. Don said no one has, referring to Tag and Bink, I think. That's Reddit. I think Randy probably read it. That's why he said it.
There's only one weird thing that I haven't been able to figure out. Towards the end, there's one woman from nowhere that keeps getting center of the frame, and I have no idea who she is. I haven't been able to. I'm looking at this. I don't recognize her on any of the credits, but they keep doing that in certain movies. Like in Avengers, they had one waitress in the background. She was in 5 or 6 different shots.
She was the daughter from the youngest daughter from Growing Pains.
Okay.
Okay.
So there was one in here, but I wasn't sure who she was. She kind of looked like what's her face from Lucifer, the CI, but I'll figure it out at some point.
There is one, not big deal, but like, and I understand Marvel wants you to watch everything, but like
they do.
They mention that Peter and what's the other girl's name? The bug girl.
Mantis.
Yeah.
That Peter and Mantis are brother and sister in this movie. Like, they reveal it in the holiday special, but if you didn't see the holiday special, you're going to probably be sitting there like, what? And
yeah, that's true.
I guarantee there's people who see these movies that don't have Disney Plus. So,
have you seen the numbers for Disney Plus?
Has anybody seen the numbers for Disney Plus?
No, I mean, like what they tell us the numbers. What they tell us the numbers are pretty damn good.
Well, that's because you've got Grogu plastered all over the place.
Fair.
Probably the character that was going to be used, but cut from the final, like the waitress who was going to be Cap's girlfriend.
Same person that we talked about. Yeah, the one that gets the interview at the end of Avengers, the youngest daughter from Growing Pains.
Yes, the one who had to.
You guys know that Captain America is Star-Lord's great grandfather, right?
Is that the
Gunn said it? Gunn said it is the same. The woman who plays his mother was also the lady who we assume took Steve's virginity in the original Captain America movie.
Oh, that's hilarious.
There's a thing about it. Look it up. Gunn says it's canon.
But that would, I mean, that or something on his father's side could be the reason why his genetics were just right to be able to manifest the God seed from
She-Hulk. And thank you.
Ego.
She-Hulk confirms it. Yep.
That he got busy.
It's canon. Cap is his great grandfather. Was the father of the man that we met at the end of the movie today, who needed his lawn mowed, and apparently his stepson is not mowing his lawn, even though he's an able-bodied 45-year-old man. Did you guys stay for the post-credit sequence?
I did. Wait, I didn't get that. What did you say?
That guy with Peter's grandfather is Steve's son, the guy whose lawn is not being mowed by his able-bodied 45-year-old stepson. That was the conversation they were having at the end of the.
I thought they were talking about the neighbor who wasn't getting them.
No, it's her stepson. Because that's her. No, it's his the woman that Peter's father lives with, his grandfather lives with.
Oh Jesus!
I'm with lawn for her, but I don't see why her son doesn't do it. Don't get me started. It was fun. I laughed.
Huh?
Yes.
Foibles, slice of life.
It was a fun. Exactly. It was a fun slice of life way to end the movie. Like
very Tim Jones. Sour grapes. Yada yada
yada. Yeah. Just him eating cereal, having a conversation with his father, or grandfather. So it was like, yeah, it worked. I liked it. All right, so let's go around and wrap it up with a score, 1 through 10, and JD, you can go first because I know you love doing this part.
8.
8.
I love this movie. It's like I said, it's I've been super negative Nancy. No, nothing mutant-esque. And even with all the stuff with the high evolutionary Don, no mutant talk. No. Sorry, this is still an audio podcast. Don asked any mutant talk or anything in that movie. No, nothing X related. I like this movie a lot. I think this was the best character-driven story Marvel has done in 3 or 4 years. I loved everything about it. I'll come up with some things I don't like in a few days, but right now, having just left the theater, I have a big smile on my face. So I can't say enough good things about this. James Gunn is going to do a great job heading up DC. He's the right guy. He has heart. Right? People thought it was going to be, you're going to have Superman doing dick jokes. Well, if Kevin Smith could avoid that, I'm sure James Gunn could avoid that. The script's still online. If anyone never read Superman Lives, it's not great, but there's no dick jokes. So go see this movie. Okay. 8 out of 10.
Johnny boy.
I'm trying to give it an 8. I'm giving it a 9.
Yeah, 9. I changed my vote.
Yeah, because there's just no again this has got to be the best thing since Endgame, and there ain't much that comes even close to it. And I mean, it's kind of bittersweet because wow, time goes really fast. You know, at my age, I guess sometimes you blink and suddenly like a decade has gone by, and it's like all we've already finished the Guardians of the Galaxy trilogy. I'm kind of sad about that, but yeah, everything I can think of about this movie that I quote unquote don't like. I'm using air quotes here. It's just nitpicky. It's not, everything else. It's like JD said. I saw it last night. I've still got a smile on my face. I want to see it again. Actually, it was really that good.
Wait.
So, Dave,
if Superman does a dick joke, take all my money.
Yeah, the rest of us don't want a Superman that's doing dick
Randy.
jokes. I mean, I get you, Randy, but
I'm gonna give it a 7.75 out of 10.
Why?
Really?
I liked it, but I don't like it as much as you guys did. Like, I'm a hopeless romantic, and I think Gamora and Peter still should have ended up together.
I'm the hopeless romantic, and even I'm like, well, you can't really beat when somebody actually dies, and we want Marvel to actually make death mean something, and so all you're left with is somebody who isn't the same person, right? I mean, like, I want to see people together. It pisses me off when they don't, but this makes sense.
Sam and Diane is who they compared him to. Sam and Diane did not wind up together.
We'll
see. I think it might not be the end of their story anyway.
Might not be.
Just because they're not going to do, well, they say right now they're not going to do any more Guardians movies. That doesn't mean they're not going to do them either.
Star-Lord will return.
Yeah, Star-Lord will return.
The legendary Star-Lord will return, giving him his original Marvel name.
And I'm
just
sure,
like Spectacular Spider-Man and Incredible Hulk.
You drive enough Brinks trucks up to the other actors' homes, they'll return.
Oh, he'll do it. Yeah, you're just not going to get it with Gunn.
Yeah, but would it be the same without Gunn?
Don't think
Can
so,
you really do this without Gunn?
I don't know. We'll find out. Gamora is still with Peter in his heart and soul. It's true.
Aww.
It's true.
Do you think it's like that because they took the characters in Endgame and screwed with Gunn's characters, and he had to kind of recover from that?
I will say that I've kind of wondered, like, if killing Gamora was a higher up decision for the storyline they wanted to tell in Infinity War, and
we need somebody to die. We can't get rid of all these, but hey, Gamora is, like, we don't care about her.
No, I think it was part of the plan. It works too well with all of it, with the character development. Like, I think it's perfect. I think it's perfect as is.
I don't know. I would be curious to find out. All right. Well, let's wrap this one up. Let's go around and see. A, do you have any recommendations? Or B, did you learn anything this week on the podcast? And we'll start with John.
I've never been into Gundam before, but I'm I just watched The Witch of Mercury. I'm about halfway through, like I'm on episode 12. Man, it's good. Like it slowed down a little bit towards like the episode 7, but now like it's old mech stuff, like giant fighting robot. And I was never really into that before, except for way back in the day with Macross. But this one turned out to be really good. The characterizations are good. The characters are fun to watch. And the animation of the giant fighting robots is awesome. So yes, that's my recommendation. That's what I got.
I know you already gave your recommendation there, JD. Did you learn anything this week?
Did I learn that Dave gets salty when characters aren't exactly as they are on the page? No, I knew that going in. Read We3. That's okay. I'm just having fun. Read We3. It's an amazing book. It's one of my favorite pieces of fiction.
What's it called?
We3. Like it's one word.
We3. Okay.
WE3.
All right. Well, I recently learned there's a large number of people who watch the podcast who aren't subscribed. So if you're watching this right now, hit that subscribe button. Make sure you click that bell for notifications so you can watch us when we go live every Sunday at 8:30. I also will recommend that you head on over to superheroespeak.com where you can find the podcast every week. Links to our social media at the top. Reviews by our good friend Kassan. Not Kassan, I'm sorry. Kristen. Kassan's still our friend.
Yes, definitely.
So much more. Real recommendation. I don't think I got anything this week. It's been it's been a week. I bought a bunch of comics at the comic book shop. I'm gonna look at some of the newer stuff that I got, and we'll see. Oh, you know what? I will say this. I have a plan going forward that we're going to be doing. I'm going to be doing short videos. I haven't started it yet, but we do have a TikTok now, boys and girls. So look for Superhero Speak over on TikTok.
I feel younger already.
And
so we're gonna. Oh man, TikTok coming soon.
We're gonna start.
Wait, does that mean I have to dance?
Yes, we want to see you floss. So we're gonna.
Nobody wants to see that, dude.
There are a couple videos on there right now which are just ads for the show, but oh my god, it's a visual joke. If you're not watching the podcast, you just missed something funny that JD did.
Well, you got to watch the podcast every week on YouTube, 7:30, 8:30 Eastern. Sundays.
So go check us out on there, and I'll be doing some short videos coming up. I'm gonna get these guys to do a couple 1-minute videos to put up as well.
Kassan's right, by the way, in that last comment.
Yes. Once the old men join something, the youngins flee.
Yep.
See Facebook.
All right. So that's all I got for this week. So, as always, thanks for watching or listening. Don't let your cape go out in the door.